Hi everyone. I'm going to share a little bit of flute music and a Native American story that I think is a good lesson for people today. And although I'm not Native American, I really enjoy reading about some of the stories because they're really universal. So I think that we could all learn a little bit from it. All right. A long time ago, there was a chief who was very cruel. And this chief would only like the things that he would conquer. Oh, he had many scalps that he would take. He had so many things that he would take for himself, and he wouldn't share with his tribe. Well, the people in his tribe respected him. They did not like him because he was an evil and cruel man. He beat his wives. He took things from members of his tribes. He would cheat, and he would do many bad things, but the one thing that he loved was his horses. And he would only really love those horses that were beautiful and young and vibrant, and the older horses he would abuse and beat. And he continued this for many, many years, until one day there was an old white horse that was amongst his herd. And he looked in horror, and he said, "What is that horse doing here? That old, disgusting horse amongst my fine horses." So the chief went to the horse and abused him and beat him and broke his legs and left him on the ground, dying. And without any remorse, he left, and he went back to his village, to his tribe. And so that later on that night, he went back to the herd because he said, "Well, while I slew that horse, I could use its skin. I could do something with it. So let me go over and skin the horse." And to his surprise, he noticed that the horse was gone. And when he came back, he was very confused and didn't know what had happened. So that day the chief went to sleep, and in his dreams appeared this beautiful white horse, this white stallion that had a flowing white mane and fire in its eyes. And it spoke to the chief and said, "Well, you abused me, and it is something that I cannot forgive." And the chief woke up, and he was very shaken by that. So the chief went back to his horses, and then he noticed that his herd of horses were no longer there. They were gone. He was very angry, and he went to all of the people in his tribe, and he accused everyone of stealing his horses, and he was very abusive to all the people in his tribe, but no one could seem to find the horses. he looked around his areas, and he looked to find the horses, but there was no trace of his horses. So he went back to sleep that night, tired and angry. And in his dreams, the same horse appeared and said, I have taken your horses. And if you want your horses, then you need to go to the lake that is to the north. And that lake is 2 sleeps away from you. And there you will find your horses. So the chief woke up the next morning, and for 2 days he traveled to the lake in the north. And when he got there, there were no horses. So the chief was very angry. And he went to bed, and the same horse appeared in his dreams and said, you know, I will tell you where your horses are. If you go to the mountains to the east, and you travel for two sleeps, you will find your horses there. And so the chief went to the mountains, in 2 days was there, and he looked around all the mountains and he couldn't find his horses. And so he was very, very upset. And he went to sleep that night very upset. And in his dream again appeared the white horse, the ghost horse. And the horse said to him in his dreams, yes, I have taken your herd. And if you want your herd, then you need to go 2 sleeps to the west, where you will find them in the plains. And if you go for 2 days in the grass, the long grass plains, they will be there feeding on the grass, and you can have your horses back. So the chief was very, very determined to get his horses back. So he walked for 2 days, and his feet started to get sore, and he was determined to get back his horses. And he went for 2 sleeps, and the second day he went to the plains and the grasslands, and he searched for miles in the grasslands, but his horses were not there. So he was very frustrated and tired and very angry, but he slept. And when he went to sleep, the horse appeared in his dreams again, and he said, you have abused me, but I will give you one more chance. If you go to the south for 2 days, for 2 sleeps to the desert, you will find your horses in the desert running free. And there you can have your horses. And so the chief woke up the next day, and he went for 2 days, and he wound up in the desert in the heat, and he searched for many, many miles, and he could not find his horses. His horses were not there. This continued for years. And the legend goes that you can see the traveler, who is the chief, traveling at night, following the sound of his herd. The chief became old and frail, but you can hear the footsteps. You can hear the sound of the herd. And some people who are fortunate, or may not have been fortunate, saw the white stallion leading the horses. And the old man following behind. Thanks.